Welcome back everybody, Matt the Man here. Hope you're doing well. So this past weekend we had a new movie come out, Materialists. This starring Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans. This was directed by Celine Song, who 2 years ago brought us Past Lives. A very good film. If you have not seen it, highly recommend it. And I was looking forward to this. I mean, you got, Dakota Johnson, who I like. This is another one of those actresses that people give her a lot of shit for because of the 50 Shades of Grey movies. But like I always tell people when it comes to like Robert Pattinson or, any failed series that was based on a book turned into a movie, you can't blame the actor gets hired. And especially for a well-known or a best-selling book series like 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight or whatever that hasn't worked out, you can't blame that on the actor. The actor gets the job, they're going to take the job, especially when you're pretty new. And Dakota Johnson was pretty new at the time, just coming off of like The Social Network, only having one scene in that movie. And then the 21 Jump Street movie, not a main character, or a main star in that film, just a small role in that film. So to get the chance to be the lead in a popular book series, you take it. But you also got you got Chris Evans in here, which, since post-Endgame, the Avengers, it's been nice to see Chris Evans go back to kind of who he was before Captain America, just a regular guy, kind of like the jock, the hothead, the funny guy. And it's nice to see that like in Knives Out. And now, even though this is a very different role, he's not a hothead or anything like that, it's just nice to see him like even last year, the Red One, the Christmas movie. It's nice to see him to go back to actually playing other roles besides just Captain America. I loved him as Captain America. He ended up being my favorite out of all the actors. His portrayal of Steve Rogers was great. But there's a whole generation that only knows him for Captain America now. And it's like nice to see him go back to doing, other roles, if you will. And you also got Pedro Pascal, the new, what do you call it? The new father figure in Hollywood. Or America's new daddy. Move over, Tom Hanks. So I was looking forward to the movie. Now, what I liked about this movie is it's actually not a movie that you can just push to the side. I actually think this is a perfect date night movie. And I mean that in the best way because this is a movie that you go see the movie first and then you go out to dinner after or get some ice cream or go on a coffee date, whatever. Because this is a movie that will make people, both ends of the spectrum, male, female, really question, really want to, go into detail of, do you think, what Dakota Johnson says is right? Do you think all men are like this? Do you think all women are like this? And especially for a first date, especially if you go on a first date with a girl or a guy, and you met this girl on a dating site or on a matchmaking site, oh boy, you're going to have so much to talk about that by the end of that date, you will officially know if this person is the right person to move forward with or not. Trust me on that one. You'll thank me later or you'll hate me later, I don't know. Either you'll find out, oh, this isn't the right girl for me or guy for me. Oh, this is the right girl or guy for me. And this movie kind of shows you. It brings up topics and it goes into detail and questions where people might say, oh, that 10-minute conversation at the restaurant took forever. no, if you're an intelligent person, like me, you'll look at that scene and go, that's one of the best scenes of the year is in this movie, in my opinion. It reminded me of The Social Network, when The Social Network opened up with Jesse Eisenberg and Rooney Mara just sitting at a table talking for like 10 minutes, and that's how the movie opened, and it set up the whole rest of that film. Brilliant scene. And this one kind of reminded me of that, of Pedro Pascal and Dakota Johnson sitting down and just trying to figure out, what women are you looking for, and then why do you want me, what is it about me that you're attracted to, and it gets into other things, but it's definitely a very intellectual conversation that there are some people out there that maybe didn't understand and thought the movie was cringeworthy. I don't know who that could be. And when really, no, it's not cringeworthy. It's actually a more intelligent movie. But I guess when you date 30-year-olds or 25-year-olds when you're in your mid-30s, that's a little weird, I have to say. A little weird. But hey, some people in our family they're weird. Other than I'll get into more. Dakota Johnson. I like her in this movie. Like I said, I like Dakota Johnson. There's been a number of movies like Suspiria or The Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia LaBeouf. And then she's been in a couple others that, I'm not saying she's the top of the top. I'm not saying that. She's the daughter of Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, even though the father that really raised her was Antonio Banderas, Zorro. Like I said, I've seen her in new stuff that she's really, really good in. And I'm not saying she's great in everything, but like I said, I'm not here, she was good. She worked for a company that matches people on dates, and her interactions with those people, trying to figure out what they want, are some of the funniest moments. Her chemistry with both Chris Evans and Pedro, I thought were good. And Pedro. I'm gonna do a podcast on Pedro. Vote for Pedro. He's one of those guys I want to hate, but every time I see him like in Gladiator 2 and now this movie, I'm like, I can't hate him. I want to hate him. Because he shows up in everything now. He's like that person that you see more than you see your family members or your co-workers. He's everywhere. But he was good in here. He's more subtle. I think that's him in general. Like the last few movies I've seen him in, he always brings like a subtle performance. And here he does the same thing. To me, the standout is Chris Evans. Because he is completely against his normal type. I mean, he plays a character that is poor, that is struggling, that can't get the girl, works a mediocre job. I'm describing myself. But he's good looking. Like me. But I think he just plays against that, and you buy it. I think that's the thing about him in this movie. You look at Chris Evans and you go, it's Chris Evans. Every girl would want him. But then you see the character that he's playing, like, he pulls it off so well that you go, I 100% buy why girls aren't dating him in this movie. You know what I mean? It's like, he plays that off so perfectly that you almost forget. This guy played Captain America. This guy was the hothead in Fantastic Four 20 years ago. What? Humor. This movie has a lot of humor, especially, like I said, when Dakota Johnson is trying to match people, when she's like interviewing them to figure out what they want, what they're looking for. It's funny. Like, okay, I got a 29-year-old. When the guy's like, oh, I want someone in their 20s. And then like Dakota Johnson, okay, I'm a 29-year-old, blonde, tall. No, that's too old. What do you mean, she's in her 20s? Yeah, but 29 is pushing 30. If I say she's 30, and I want someone younger. I'm like, and I'm going to get into all that in a minute. But that's the humor. The script, like I said, the dialogue, it's rich. It makes you wonder, makes you think, makes you have a conversation with someone and figure out, like I said, do you believe that stuff? Do you not believe that stuff? Is it true? Is that why men don't want to date anymore? Is that why men are like, this is a waste of time? Women's have this criteria that is so high and so bonkers that it's unrealistic, so men just don't want to try anymore. We're going to get into that. I also like the shot compositions. There's some really great shots in this movie. My favorite one is actually the final shot of the movie. It is like the perfect shot composition where everything is located and how it's framed. I was looking at it, and it actually reminded me of my first film in college, the last shot of my first film in college. And I was like, that is a beautiful shot. Like, that is like, and I'm glad they sat on it for a while. That's the other thing I love. I hate when movies have a great moment, and they don't just let it, take its time. They just try to rush to the next scene. This one literally just sat on a shot for a while, and I just, absorbed it all in. I was like, that is a perfect shot. It's more than past lives. Now, some people might argue, my Not Celine song did a good job with, like I said, the acting, bringing up intelligent topics and themes that deal with dating nowadays that I think are very true and very unrealistic. But getting into that, I do not understand how women have a criteria of dating someone they have to be 6'5", make $150,000 in their bank account, and it's like this, and this. It's like, are you for real? If that's the case, I'm fucked. I mean, I am fucked on every level. We all know that. But he ain't 6'5", that's for sure. He definitely doesn't have $150,000 in his bank account. We're not even going to talk about how much money. He's like Chris Evans in this movie, okay? I'm Chris Evans, okay? Very little money, not 6 foot, well, Chris Evans probably is 6 foot, so he has that going for him. Not 6'5", but women, you have this criteria, and it's completely fucked up. I'm sorry. You only date people if they have this criteria. Now, I'm not saying men are perfect. Trust me, I know one example that, oh boy, his criteria, she has to be blonde, she has to be tall, almost 6 foot, natural boobs, and white. She's not white, she's not almost 6 foot tall, she's not blonde, and she doesn't have a natural boobs that are a nice size, then that's a no-go. That's a no-go for lunch. I wonder who I might be describing. I don't know. I mean, he keeps going out with the same women. He doesn't know how to venture off. He stays in a little box, and he doesn't know how to leave the box, So there are men like that. I'm not saying there aren't. Weirdly enough, the only thing he doesn't care about is how much money the woman has. Because he buys everything. But we're looking at it. If you're not white, not almost 6 foot, not blonde, and don't have a natural rack, forget about it. He doesn't want you. That's why you don't know with someone I do. Anyway. So I'm saying, I'm not saying that men don't have a criteria. Some of them do. Some. Not all. There are some that will go out, not that they'll go out with anybody. No. they still have a certain limit, let me say. They have a certain limit. But they also don't mind venturing, in certain directions either. They don't mind opening up that criteria for more, instead of narrowing it down like some people. And I think that's the problem with dating right now. I mean, I've been on dating sites. Women are afraid to go after something different. That's the problem with women. They are so shallow, and they are shallow. Sorry, women, you're shallow. I've been living for 35 years. No girls pursued me. That's shallow. And it's true, like, women have, and it's like, what are you afraid of? That's something that people need to ask, like, women, like, what are you afraid of? It's like that scene in The Notebook. The scene in The Notebook is probably the most important scene in the past 21 years. Ryan Gosling, Rachel McAdams, it's like the most memed scene in the whole movie when they're at the house that he built for her. He built a fucking house for her, and they're outside, and she's about to go back to James Morrison, and he goes, "What do you want? What do you want?" And what is the typical girl answer? It's not that simple. And this is something that this movie brings up. What do you want? Chris Evans says, what do you want in Dakota Johnson? What do you want? You want Pedro or you want me? You want the guy who makes a lot of money or do you want the poor guy? What do you want? Now it's like in The Notebook. You want Ryan Gosling? He doesn't make that much money. He's poor. But you got James Morrison, very rich. What do you want? And and right then what the girl says, it's not that simple. Well, yes, it is very simple. And you women make it hard. It's no different than trying to pick out a restaurant. What do you want to eat tonight? I don't know. We got Chinese, we got Italian, we got burgers, we got Mexican, we got Japanese. I don't know. How about Chinese? I don't know. We just had that a couple nights ago. Okay. What about Italian? I'm not feeling it. Okay. What about 20 minutes later? Okay, let's go for Chinese. We could have been sitting down, already eating egg drop soup. And that's the problem with women. They don't know how to make up their mind. They like to play games all the time. Oh, I like you. You're the only guy I can count on. Oh, what I you have a boyfriend who's never there for me. Wow, but I like being around you. Okay, so what's the problem? I don't know. Just like in The Notebook. What do you want? It's not that simple. No, it is very simple. You want him or you want me? Not that hard. And yet, at the end of the day, women don't know what they want. I mean, I don't get it how you play games with men. And they do. Sorry, they do. College. I always love bringing up college. With one girl for freshman year, then at the end of freshman year, we kind of went our separate ways. We talked a little bit about summer, but really when we got back to sophomore year, nothing. I didn't pursue her, nothing. I went my own way, like, okay, I'm not gonna mess around anymore. And then about a couple weeks into that quarter, all of a sudden, she starts pursuing me again. Pursuing me. Surprise birthday party. Coming up to the Halloween party, asking me to dance. Then, we spent all sophomore year, spring quarter together. She comes back with me to a wedding in my hometown. I want to bring that in my hometown. Then she calls me when I have stomach surgery 3 times in one day. 1 day, 3 times. I don't know, no other person called me that much when I was in the hospital. Not my best friend, not even some of the other girls I hung out with down in Savannah. They didn't call me. They knew. No call. But the one that pursued me called me 3 times. And then I scheduled a surgery around her filming, and I told her months before, yeah, I'll be there when you film. Don't worry. And then, nothing, no contact. Then I'm driving to Savannah, and I get a call on the phone calling me. We don't text at this point. We're always calling on the phone. And she's making sure that I'm coming. She wants me to be there. And it's like, and this whole time in 2010, she was in a relationship that I never knew about. And it's like, wait a minute here. You've been pursuing me this entire year, even though most of it you've had a boyfriend. All that time in spring of hanging out every weekend together and doing stuff that we would do, nothing sexual, just pointing that out there. But it's like, you had a boyfriend this whole time. Now some people would say to me, how did you not realize this? Because I was honest, and I thought she was going to be honest with me. She wasn't. And then we get to the second girl in college, who I didn't talk to for the first month of the quarter. Then finally, when I finished my film, I finally turned around and she was sitting behind me and started talking to her. Next thing I know, a week later, she's asking me to live with her in an apartment with 2 other girls when she could have asked anybody else, any other guy, any other girl. No, she asked me while pursuing me for an entire month. And then we're in that apartment all summer, and about 3 weeks into that apartment, we get a new girl coming in, so 3 girls and me. It was a fun summer, I won't say that. College girls in the summer in Savannah, the last quarter of college, had practically no work to do. Hey, I was the smartest guy in Savannah, let me tell you. New girl comes in, right away, instant connection. To the point that first night, I still remember, she literally says, while looking at me, listen, not the girl that pursued me, this other new girl, can we fool around? While she's looking at me. And the girl who picked me to be her roommate goes, no, we're not doing anything like that around here. So you're marking your territory that you don't want anyone to fool around with me. We're in an apartment with 3 girls all summer. My last quarter of college, come on. And so you're marking your territory, but then the entire time you don't ever make a move. Alright, when you pursued me. Alright, when you like this other guy too. You're playing games. That's what women do, they play. That's why you see so many movies and TV shows where there's a girl and 2 guys. Twilight, Harry Potter, Dawson's Creek, Vampire Diaries, The Notebook, this movie, I can go on and on. But that's the point. Women do not know what they want. Is it because of society? What your family isn't going to approve? Society is not going to approve? What is it? Is it both? Probably. But getting into the negatives about this movie, the women that actually pursued me in college weren't from Georgia. So I guess maybe that's why, after 35 years of living in Georgia and no girls pursued me, well, not because the only girls that have were not from Georgia. I don't know what it is. But so far, even being back from college, going on 13 years, lucky number 13, maybe this will be the year, number 13, of course it would. Maybe something will happen, but since I've even been out of college, 0. You go to a bar, they go after the other guy. They go here, they go after the other guy. What is it? I know, you're shallow. I can't help it. And the funny part is, like I said, women do not know what they want. Men know what they want, even in this movie. Pedro Pascal says, I want you. Chris Evans says, I want you. And of course, Dakota Johnson is asking both of them, why me? What is it about me? Well, I'm in my 30s. You should be going after someone. It's like, men know what they want. That is a given. Men always know, except maybe if you're my brother, they know what they want, okay? It's not that hard. Once again, going back to my story, it's like the girl should not have been surprised that when it finally dawned on her, wait a minute, he likes me. It's like, no shit. It's like, hello, McFly, anyone in there? Hello? The guy came down to Savannah for 5 days to be there for you. Hello? McFly? Hello? He planned a fucking surgery around you. Duh. He was supposed to be in North Carolina that weekend. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck? There were 2 girls that asked me to come film that same week. The other girl that I knew in college lived in North Carolina. And then there was the one I spent 2 years with, who was in Savannah that summer. I chose the one in Savannah, not the one in North Carolina. That should have also said it all. But once again, and of course we're going to say, you had options. You had options. I don't have options in Alpharetta. I had options in Savannah. Weird. But it's like funny how it dawned on her. Wait a minute, he likes me? Hello? Hello? Have you not been paying attention the past year? I mean, hello? I mean, he is here in Savannah for you. Even after what happened that first night, he stayed in Savannah for another 5 days for you. Hello? McFly? Hello? I mean, that's why I don't get how women, it's like, we know what we want. You do not. But you need to figure it out. I'm not getting any younger, by the way. I might look in my 20s, but hey, I'm in my mid-30s. Time to move it along, okay? And this isn't going to look this great, well it might, I can be 50 and look like I'm in my 30s. That's not a bad problem to have. I hope you enjoyed my TED Talk. Shallow. Instead of that movie Shallow Hal with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow, they need to do the reverse. Shallow Susan. There's only one negative in this. There is a subplot of Dakota Johnson, like that she worked for this matchmaking company, and one of her clients gets sexually assaulted, and instead of just taking care of it in one scene, they draw it out in the second half of the movie scene, and then we go a little bit, nothing, then we have another scene bringing it up, then we really get into like the last 5 minutes of the movie, and they bring it up again. And it's like, why are we spending so much time on this sexual assault when it's not even the main storyline? I'm not saying you don't bring it up, but you could have handled it in one scene and moved on, rather than keep going back to it, which is slowing down the film. And we just want to see who Dakota Johnson ends up with, Pedro or Chris. That's all we care about. Vote for Pedro or vote for Captain America. That's what we want to know. So this whole subplot just kind of was like, why are we spending so much time on this? I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Materialists? Do you want to argue with me on this? Do you agree with me on this? Is dating out there hard right now? Because women have a certain criteria. Men will only date women that are in their 20s. That's weird. Like somebody I know. Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button. I know you want to. I know you do now. And leave a comment. That's the best.